Greetings, alchemists. Welcome to my portal. I hope you guys are doing amazingly well. Today I'm here with
Vasily,
and we're doing a reading for you guys on what are your spiritual gifts, your spiritual abilities, your unique gifts and talents that will lead you to success in your lifetime overall. So we have 3 different groups to choose from. If you'd like to book a personal reading with me, check out my website, which is linked down below. And all tips to my Cashapp, PayPal, or through my website. I really appreciate it. That helps support my content creation. So take a moment, take a few deep breaths, and ground into the present moment to receive this message. Group number 1, you guys are represented by the titanium rainbow quartz.
Number 2, you are represented by aquamarine.
And number 3, you guys are represented by moldavite. So take a moment, pause the video if you need to, decide which energy is calling you the most, and we will see you in your reading. Hello, group number 1. Welcome to your reading. Hope you guys are doing amazing. So this is what are your spiritual gifts, abilities, your supernatural talents that will lead you to success in this lifetime. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, check out my website, which is linked down below. So you guys chose titanium rainbow quartz, awakening all chakras, ultimate manifestation, vibrancy, and powerful shift. So you guys definitely could have a rainbow aura, or you have a lot of different facets to your personality. I feel like you guys are multi-talented, or you're not one-sided. You have a lot of different sides, you have a lot of different personalities, maybe in a shadow attribute, or in more of an unhealed version of yourself, so to say. You could be someone that struggles with their identity, or you feel pulled in a lot of different directions. You want a lot of different things. There's like different sides of you. You know, the rainbow energy, there could be that purple side of you that is really connected to their intuition and really just wants to pursue things in that sense. But then there could be more of that red side of you, which maybe is someone that wants to pursue something that's more like grounded. You guys could definitely be someone who in some ways has struggled with that and like trying to just decide what you want to do and which direction you want to go, and that could be something that maybe causes you anxiety or like internal strife, and maybe you even perceive negatively about yourself, like you see that as a negative perspective in terms of the way that you view yourself. And so I feel like the first message that you guys need to know is that what you may perceive as like a really big weakness is actually truly a really big gift or a really big power that you have, but you have to just harness it. So hopefully this message brings you a lot of clarity or a sense of like just self-understanding, because you have been struggling to like understand yourself, because there's so many different sides to you. And that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing that you have a lot of different interests, or you feel called to different things, even if some of the things that you want to do don't really resonate with each other or go with each other, so to say. That is a talent or a gift in itself, to be able to think so outside the box that you can even view yourself not just in one position, not just being like one-sided or only seeing yourself from one perspective. You actually have this very like expansive mind, because you're able to visualize yourself in a lot of different energies and a lot of different scenarios, pursuing a lot of different things. So that is a part of your gifts or abilities, is like your multifacetedness. And I would say that also really helps you resonate with other people. You have a really powerful ability to connect with different people from different places, different areas. You can connect to people with different personalities because you're not closed-minded. Your ability to see everyone else's perspective, your ability to see things from like every angle is really powerful. And I feel like that can be sometimes exhausting in some ways, but if you learn how to harness that energy, you realize like how much of a gift or a power it actually is. Vibrancy, powerful shift. So yeah, you guys are really good at calling what you want towards you. And you have this very vibrant energy, like you could be very uplifting. Your energy in itself could positively shift or radiate to those around you. You could positively uplift those around you. And so I would say with that, maybe you tend to attract people that need to be uplifted, or people tell you that you really uplift them, or that you make them feel happy, or things like that. Sometimes that can be draining, so just make sure that you are prioritizing your own energy, but you have this natural ability to uplift those around you. And I'm really getting the energy about like your ability to make people feel understood and make people not feel like they are so like alone in the world. And I think in some ways you could feel kind of alone, you could feel misunderstood, but the people that are gonna misunderstand you are the people that don't really have that same ability as you in terms of being able to see things from different perspectives. Like the people that are gonna misunderstand you, it's because they have placed themselves in their own like mental or metaphorical box, and they only see themselves as one-sided or one-faceted. So the fact that you have multi-facets, it is something where people may try to just label you because it's easier for them to be like, okay, you're an example would be like someone could label you as like, I kind of think now of like aesthetics. Like sometimes when you have like an aesthetic, that aesthetic can actually be limiting. So say that you have like a goth aesthetic, or someone that could be kind of misjudging you, they could have like a goth aesthetic, so to say, and maybe you get along with that person because you also have this like goth aesthetic at the same time. But you also could have like a aesthetic that is the opposite of goth. You could also have an aesthetic that's very like light and like happy, or like more vibrant colors or something like that. And so that person with the goth aesthetic could just want to see you only from that perspective because that's how they see themselves. But you have different sides. So you may have a goth aesthetic, I can't think of different aesthetics right now, but you may have a goth aesthetic, you may have more of like a hippie aesthetic, but you're both, and like that's okay. But someone could mislabel you like, oh no, you're just goth, or something like that. Or they could even say, no, you're not really goth because you also have this, something like that. And that's just kind of the example, because aesthetics sometimes can be limiting, where it's like you don't have to put yourself in a box, you don't have to label yourself as one thing. So you guys just have the ability to like mesh and mold into different scenarios. It's kind of like a chameleon vibe. That chameleon energy could be used for bad or for good, honestly, but you have this ability to like really mold into different environments. Like you're not a very rigid energy. It's kind of like snaky. And the chameleon, the snake, can have like a negative connotation, but these are your gifts, these are your abilities, and how you use them is really up to you. You could really use these abilities to allow yourself to have a lot of different experiences, rather than just having like this one-dimensional kind of energy, or existing on this like one-dimensional plane. It's like you have this ability to fit in a lot of different groups, and which also allows you to access a lot of different opportunities, because you're not just limiting yourself to one like way of being or one way of going about things. You're someone that is just open and like flexible, and that is a power, that is a gift, because rigidity is something that is common, or a lot of people, they just say, okay, this is what I'm going to do with my life, this is who I am, and they never really step outside of that. You have the ability to you may also notice that you go through a lot of different phases in your life, or like what you want tends to change suddenly. And I would just say, like, number one, don't judge yourself for that. Like it's okay to change what you want to do as you access like different parts of yourself throughout your lifetime. So I feel like this pile, you guys could honestly struggle with like identity crisis, honestly. But the only reason you're going to struggle with identity crisis is if you are trying to conform to some sort of outside belief or idea of who you should be, or just the idea that we should be one thing. Like even when you go to college, it's like pick your major, and it's like there's so many different majors, there's so many different things you could do, but even that in itself is kind of like, okay, what's the one thing you want to do? And yeah, you can have like a minor and things like that, but just that kind of mentality of college in general, it's like, what's the one thing that you want to do, who you want to be for the rest of your life? And it's like, well, why can't I be this and that? And it's like, well, you actually can't, So the High Priestess in the reverse, that's interesting. I feel like you guys have a very powerful intuition, especially with all the purple here. But there is that sense of, if you let the outside noise, that's kind of resonating again, if you let that outside noise distract you or confuse you, you're going to start to think that you can't trust yourself. But you have a very powerful third eye chakra, so that's the thing that's going to be the most like challenged in your life, or the most blocked. Sometimes your most blocked chakra is actually like where your gifts truly are. So maybe you guys have had a lot of blockages in your third eye chakra, a lot of people trying to block your third eye chakra, a lot of experiences sent to block your third eye chakra, and that's actually because your third eye is like one of your most powerful intuitive gifts. You guys have the ability to see through people, see through things, and once again, that's because of your ability to not just be super closed-minded and rigid in your perspective, okay? You have the Ace of Eyes. So yeah, your gift is like your gift of sight, the gift of the sight, the ability to see things clearly as they are, not from like a clouded lens or blurred vision. Rose-colored glasses may resonate, but it's like you guys don't have that. You don't have those issues with, you see things clearly as they are, you know, whether you like it or not, honestly, like whether you want to or not. And like that's your gift, that's your ability, the ability to see through the illusion or see through what something is trying to project, and you see like what it actually is. Like say that someone is like trying to dress in a certain way and talk in a certain way that makes them seem like they're this very like nice person, but you can like see through that when maybe no one else can. Like maybe that is something that's, you know, normal for you. You could be in like certain groups and everyone's like, oh, I love this person, but you can just like see through their facade, like that it's disingenuous. Like you can spot disingenuous energy. You can also spot authenticity at the same time. It's like you are you're able to see things as they are. That's a really powerful gift as well. So yeah. And you have the Eight of Ravens. So the Eight of Ravens, I'm actually going to reference the Eight of Ravens in this tarot is the Cups. So the Eight of Cups. So you guys have a very powerful ability to walk away, to leave things behind. That's like a part of your malleability. You really have the ability to let go of things when it's time to let go of them, and to practice like healthy non-attachment. You guys are able to not be so like stuck or codependent. You allow yourself to change. You allow yourself to grow and transform and like mold into different versions of yourself as you go. All versions of yourself, but still allowing yourself to mold into like those different parts of yourself, those different aspects. So a really powerful gift is your adaptability, your malleability, your flexibility, and your ability to not just be very rigid. And this is going to lead you to so many opportunities. This is what's going to make you achieve so many things, because you are going to allow yourself to change. You know, sometimes someone could be presented with an opportunity, but they're so stuck in their ways that that opportunity never really arrives, or they never really get to follow through with that because they can't allow themselves to step outside of who they always thought that they were. And sometimes your perspective of yourself is its own limiting belief or its own limiting factor. Like it's its own limitation itself. If you see yourself one way and you never allow yourself to explore the different parts of your personality. So it's like you guys have all these different sides, you guys have all these different personalities isn't the right word, but it's like personality traits. It's like you have different aspects of the self, and that really is going to open a lot of doors for you. And at the same time, you're willing to change. You're not like super stubborn, you're not super I heard non-conformist, unconventional. So you're not very conforming. You don't just like go with the status quo. You make up your own opinion, or you formulate your own ideas. You don't just go with what everyone else is telling you. You have the ability to generate your own perspective in a world where maybe it's easier to just accept the more common one. You guys are able to step outside of that and see things from your own perspective, and, you know, ask yourself, wait, what do I truly feel? What do I truly believe? Not just what have I been told to believe, but what is actually the truth that resonates with me. So there's a lot of like free thinking energy, open-minded energy, and like the ability to step outside of yourself to see like other sides too. So the ability to like empathize, you could say sympathize, but I would say more so like empathize. The ability to just like understand yourself and those around you is really powerful. It shows an ability to step outside of yourself and like step outside of your own ego for like the bigger perspective, for the greater good of all around you, but also to see the bigger perspective, to see the ability to like zoom out and to see like the full picture, the full vision, rather than seeing things from like this very small perspective. You guys have the ability to like zoom out and see things from all angles. So yeah, very powerful. So we're gonna get more, let's go deeper into your gifts, your abilities.
Okay, I'm gonna approach the gifts and abilities topic from a divination perspective. What we're gonna do is we're gonna use the I Ching to pull a card. It's gonna take a few tosses of the coins to craft the hexagram, 6 tosses in total. And from that, we can consult the guidebook to see which card is associated with the configuration of heads and tails we receive for each toss. So I'm gonna just quickly toss these into the box so we don't lose them. Let's hit our first roll of the coins. And just quickly, I'm using this as, let's see if we can get a zoom there. This is heads, and this is tails. I believe the heads is represented by yang, or the heads represents the yang, the masculine, and tails represents the yin, the feminine. So let's go for our first toss. So we get 3 tails. Let's write that down. And the way the hexagram is crafted is bottom up. So the bottom row will be represented by 3 tails. Okay, let's speed this up a bit. Next. Oh, 3 tails again. Okay, either I'm not shuffling these coins well, or they're coming out in a particular pattern, which is cool. Either way, honestly. Okay, let's do a bit better. It's a bit hard to shuffle coins, but okay, very tail heavy kind of throws we're having here. So 2 tails, 1 head. Okay. Okay, 2 heads, 1 tail. Okay, for our last 2. That one fell. We'll just take that as is. It fell on heads. Tails, tails. Lastly, for our top row, we have 3 heads. That's a nice little way to wrap up the hexagram casting. Okay, and I'm gonna quickly refer to the guidebook. Okay. So whenever you cast 3 of a kind, heads or tails, it takes on the changed meaning. So even though tails is represented by yin, when you cast 3 of the same, it because I Ching represents change, when you cast 3 of the same, it changes to the other. So yin changes to yang when you cast all 3. But in this scenario, you have 3 heads, 3 yang, so this is represented by the yin now since it's changing. So for the bottom row, we have 3 tails as we just casted, and that is represented by a changing yin. So changing broken line, the old yin, so the 2 broken lines come together to form 1. Then we have that again for the next row up. Then 2 tails, 1 head is represented by also an unchanging line. Unbroken line, sorry. Wait. Solid line, yeah. And then we have the 2 tails for our third row. From the top, we have 2 heads, 1 tail. That's represented by a broken line. Then we have 2 tails, 1 head, which is represented by the solid line again. And lastly, we have 3 heads, which is shown here. I haven't changed the configuration from our last cast. And as you can see, at least in the guidebook, you have at the very end, you have the changing solid line. So you have the solid line, but it changes because all 3 were the same. So the yang changes to yin. So yin is broken, I believe. So there you go. And that's our hexagram right there. So we're just going to reference the guidebook. Even though I could search through the cards individually, we can reference the guidebook to quickly get our card. So a hexagram is made up of 2 trigrams. So the upper trigram was 3 solid lines, and the bottom trigram was broken, solid, broken. So we have to pull a 6. So as you can see here, just for your reference, we have a matching hexagram. So 6. What are your skills and abilities? Right away we have arguing, so this really makes me think that your skills and abilities might lie in some type of debate, arguing. Maybe you want to go into a certain field that might require that. What comes to mind initially is the legal field. Maybe some type of negotiator position. We have fruitful to see great people, fruitless to cross the river. Let's go to the back and see what the description is for this number, this hexagram specifically. Things are not as they should be, so you argue for what you need, sustenance to be believed, or for justice. But in defiant frustration, the creative flow is blocked. Open your heart to the potential for change in a higher perspective. Consult with someone wiser or outside the conflict. What are you arguing for? If you can't win this one, what else can you do? Okay, so this is, I'm getting sort of 2 meanings from this. Maybe specifically to this reading, however, if we're doing the skills and abilities, what are you arguing for? That's the line I want to focus on. So you have this skill to logically, make conclusions, use your intuition to guide your fact-finding process. You're good at it, but you're not really putting it to use. Maybe you're arguing, maybe you're using, maybe your outlet for this is with friends or family. However, that's not too productive because you're not really it's not very fruitful the way you're doing it. So what this card is telling me is that you want to use your ability to logically construct argument or debate within the rules of debate. And this might even be like, maybe you want to pursue a career in politics, perhaps, or maybe it doesn't have to be national politics, maybe a local office. You're interested in pursuing that career. And instead of, your passion is not being really fulfilled by your current circumstances. And it's not that you need to sort of cut off any connections. It's that you should use your skills and abilities to craft new connections, and really use your skills and abilities to help other people, such as I said, the legal field, to help people get out of difficult situations, or maybe run for office, sort of fight for people, use your abilities to fight for people. So that's what I'm seeing with this. Now, 6 is a yin number, so yang is odd, yin is even. I think if I got that right. Regardless, 6 is also a lucky number, so that's what I am seeing, that you should probably use your skills and ability in a more fruitful manner that benefits you and not to the detriment of the people around you. Use it to guide your career.
Yeah, so you guys have a lot of abilities, a lot of gifts, a lot that you can work with in this lifetime. So now we're going to get a meditation card, and this is going to be more so advice on how you can, what practice would best suit you at this time to harness this energy. So let's see. All right. So you guys got 2 showing up. First, you have spiraling thoughts. So spiraling thoughts. Meditate for 10 minutes. Thoughts carry momentum. As an ancient said, whatever the mind frequently ponders becomes the inclination of the mind. During this sit, notice the spiraling of thoughts. If you catch your mind wandering, can you I don't know what that means. Okay, sorry, I don't know this. Can you Can you iteratively backtrack your thoughts to the original idea? So yeah, mindfulness meditation for spiraling thoughts, and yeah, that's really going to help you guys kind of, you have so many like thoughts and ideas, that's really going to help you guys kind of calm the mind to kind of focus on one thing at a time.
I have solving problems. This directly relates to the I Ching divination, because can you use your skills and abilities to solve problems, or are you just going to use them to win, sort of almost not petty, but like win things when maybe like debates or arguments that don't really have any consequences beyond being right, positive consequences beyond being right. So try to try to use your gifts to solve problems, and that could be very beneficial in your life. And with the spiraling thoughts, basically all this is saying with the iteratively backtrack your thoughts is like you just take a step-by-step process. So basically I'm getting from these 3 is that, take things step by step, and it should And over here we have just a great transition from meditate for 10 minutes to perform for 10 minutes. That's just like a really, great kind of progression with how you can go about life in general. Pondering to thoughts to action.
Yeah, so that's what we're seeing for you guys, group number 1. Thank you so much for joining. Appreciate you guys. Much love.
Thank you.
Namaste. Hello, group number 2. Welcome to your reading. Hope you guys are doing amazing. So you guys chose aquamarine. If you chose aquamarine, you're in the right place. If you'd like to book a personal reading with me, check out my website, which is linked down below. And yeah, let's see. Aquamarine, what are your supernatural gifts and abilities, your special gifts and talents that will lead you to high achievements in this lifetime?
This is going to focus on what your gifts and talents are, as was just said, in specifically in reference to maybe if you're a water sign, Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio, this might apply directly to you, sort of when it comes to your throat chakra specifically, because that's associated with the color blue. So we have healing, compassion, truth, speaking it, because the throat chakra, and compromise. Being a water sign means that you understand like interpersonal dynamics. You might be feel very connected to the ocean or ocean animals. You understand that words are powerful. So let's draw some cards and see how your gifts, abilities, supernatural powers, how you can sort of enhance them or use them for your purpose.
Alright, your first card, you have the 7 of Eyes. So the Eyes is the Wands, so the 7 of Wands. I'm kind of curious to see specifically what the Edgar Allan Poe Tarot says in terms of their description of the Wands for you guys, so let's see. The 7 of Eyes represents success, especially compared with others. The energy of this card can border on conceit and over competitiveness. This card reverse suggests lack of motivation and low self-esteem. So yeah, immediately a gift or ability you guys have is a sense of competitiveness. Sometimes that can come across as conceited, but I feel like that more so is just a negative perspective that someone could have if they're lacking confidence in themselves or lacking drive or motivation. So I feel like you guys are very competitive, and it doesn't mean that you have a competitive spirit. Like maybe you guys do like sports, you'd be really good at sports, or you're really good at like competitive sports or something like that. But that competitiveness could just mean that you have a competitive nature, meaning that you're kind of always one step ahead of everyone else around you, or you are someone that is like in the race whether you want to be or not. Like maybe you've noticed that people think they're in competition with you in your life when you're not really trying to compete with anyone, or you feel like that could be something where others kind of view you as a threat, and it's because you have this like natural kind of competitive spirit, which is just an energy of being motivated and having a drive, and that naturally makes you a competitor in the world. To have motivation, to have drive, to not just have ideas but to actually follow through with them. You guys are really good at like making a practical plan and like following through with that plan. You're really good at like building things. I'm kind of thinking like Bob the Builder, like you guys are really good at like building what you want to create, not just thinking about something and visualizing it, but actually grounding it into physical reality and like making it actually happen. Like you guys have the ability to make things happen. Maybe a theme in your life is like not really having a lot, but still somehow, I heard like making it out of the hood, but like you guys, maybe you haven't had a lot in your life, but yet you're still grateful, and you're also still growing and building. Or it's like you can make things from scratch. You guys have a really powerful ability with your hands, with like making things, like physically getting things done, like putting the work in, not making excuses for yourself, and like just doing what needs to be done in order to get your results. So it's like you guys have this drive, this like motivation that's just like innate within you, and you don't have like a giving up spirit, and you don't have like a victim mentality. Even if you have been victimized in situations, you don't let that stop you. You don't let that make you give up. You have this ability to really just like build. So literally like starting something from the ground up, like maybe you're starting something from the ground up, you have, or you will. If you wanted to start your own business, you would be able to start that, you know, with nothing basically. If you wanted to build a house, you would be able to build that, you know, completely on your own. It's like you don't make excuses for yourself, and you have the drive and the motivation. There is a sense of like practicality. So yeah, you guys could definitely be water signs, but I also get like earth energy too. So you guys, the ace of the ace of ravens, you guys, and I'm noticing the death card at the bottom, which is Scorpio. But you guys really like, I feel like your gifts and abilities is like putting an ending to struggle and like creating abundance. Like maybe there's a repeating history of struggle with the people around you, and I feel like you guys don't fall to those same like victim like mindsets. You don't make excuses for yourself. Like fall down 7 times, stand up 8. Maybe you felt like you had to be very strong in your life, and that can be like exhausting. But you have this like internal strength within you that it's like nothing, like no weapon formed against you will prosper. Nothing can stop you because you've already like beat yourself. And if you don't feel like you're quite there yet, this is your gift, this is your ability. You have the strength. Some of you guys are a little bit further along than others. Like right now, some of you receiving this message, you could feel kind of like knocked down by life, and you could feel like, you know, there's so many things against you, but what you're maybe failing to realize is like your gift and your ability is so much so in your ability to like overcome any obstacle and like come out stronger as a result, rather than maybe like a weaker version of yourself. You are stronger. Like you have the ability to actually learn lessons. Literally, wow, I love the way that flew out, the strength card. You guys could have Leo in your chart, but yeah, you're strong, you're powerful, you have a lot of confidence in yourself. Like your power and your ability is in your strength, and I feel like a lot of your strength was formed through disappointment. So you know that like things can be disappointing, you know that things cannot work out, and because you know that, you like don't hold back. Sometimes the fear of failure is worse than the fear of, well, sometimes the fear of failure is the fear of being successful, but the fear of failure can sometimes stop you from even trying something because you're like, oh, well, this isn't gonna work out anyway. But you guys are like, well, it may not work out, but I'm still gonna try. It's like you have this strength to just keep going. It's like you guys have this, you have the warrior spirit, you have the like, I don't know, like the fixer-upper. Like maybe someone could see like a fixer-upper in terms of like if someone's like a realtor, I don't know. Someone could see a fixer-upper and they could look at that and they'd be like, yeah, no, that's like a dead end. They'd be like, screw that. But you would look at that same thing and you'd be like, wow, I could make this into something beautiful. I could make this into something amazing. I could build something great. You know, someone could look at one thing and they'd be like, wow, this is a dead end. This is nothing, you know, that could ever come from it. But you look at that same thing, you know, no matter what it is, and you see the potential. Like you have the ability to see the potential in things because maybe no one saw the potential in you, but like you saw the potential in yourself. It's like you have like a level of optimism, and I feel like when I say that, some of you guys don't feel very optimistic. Like some of you guys you don't feel optimistic right now, you just feel kind of beat down, but you don't realize that like that's your power, that's your strength actually, is the fact that like you're still going. That's a gift and ability in itself. But it's like, so I'm hearing pitfalls, but it's just like where others would just give up, you keep going. Where others would see no potential, you see like everything that something could be if you just like gave it the care and attention that it deserved. Like you have the ability to like slow and steady wins the race. Like you have the ability to actually build something over time. Like you don't have this like quick like dopamine like fix. Like you guys are very grounded, and you have the ability to be like, you know what, maybe this will take time, but it can still happen. You know, maybe someone is working on something for like a year and they just give up because it didn't work out in a way that they thought it would in the first year, but you're like, you know what, no, I'm not just gonna give up, I'm gonna give something time. Like you understand that you can build something over time. It's like you give things a chance. You don't just like abandon things. You're not just looking for like a quick, you know, quick fix, but no, it's not really the right word. Like you're not looking for just like a quick like, I don't know, you guys have just patience. Like your patience is really your power, and your strength and your ability. It's like you're not just gonna give up because you're not seeing something right away. Like you understand that it takes time to build something beautiful, and like you guys have the ability to actually really do that. Like Rome wasn't built in a day. Like you guys understand that, and you don't just like give up because of that. Like you have this strength, this fortitude, this patience that really can allow you to build something that actually is stable and long lasting. You know, you could build something quickly, or you could build it over time. And when you build something quickly, sometimes it can be built on unstable foundations, or you know, you realize you were doing something for the wrong reasons. When you actually take the time to plan and think things out and build over time, you actually allow it to be strong and stable. So it's like you guys have this like stable, grounded energy where you really can just like hold things down, like hold down the fort. Like you guys are just really, really grounded, stable, secure, and just like rooted deeply in who you are. And even though you are like very watery in your emotions, you still have like this like earthy sort of grounded side to you as well. Your throat chakra is so powerful. Like the way you guys speak is really powerful because you're very intentional with what you do, and you're also very just like authentic and real with the way that you go about things. You're not trying to do things like for a quick, I think of like a fad or something like that. Like you don't do things just for like that like sort of quick energy, if that makes sense. It's more so you guys, you're just like real. Like something about it is almost like maybe more of like an old school mentality. You know, it's not to say that you're not progressing with the world around you, but it is to say that you're sticking to your roots. And I feel like this is important as well, because for some of you guys, you will achieve something very powerful after building it over a long period of time. And it just depends where you are on your journey in terms of when that will happen. It could even be happening now. And I feel like there's an energy where someone may try to make you like sell your soul, or like sell out, so to say. And like that is your strength, that is your power. So you need to not fall for that trick. Like you're not going to sell out for, you know, fame, or you're not going to sell out for like riches that are just like frugal. Like I don't know if frugal is the right word, but you're not just gonna like you're gonna stick to your truth, you're gonna stick to your roots. And that's really powerful in a world where sometimes it can be easier to just seek that quick validation. So it's like you guys are just this very just like strong person. Like you guys are really powerful leaders. Honestly, you're a really powerful leader, because even if you got a lot of power, you would still remain humble. Even if you got a lot of power, you wouldn't like let that make you like have an inflated ego. Like even if you're very successful, you're not gonna let that you know, make you have a big ego. And usually when you get a big ego, that's when you lose everything, you know. So there is that message though about like someone may try to, and I kind of think of like farmers now. Like maybe you literally like, you know, a farmer is definitely someone that has a lot of patience. And I kind of think of like the nicotine thing where Big Pharma basically paid off a lot of tobacco farmers to stop selling tobacco. And I'm not saying every tobacco farmer that maybe did that. I think for some of them they almost had to, or something. Did that, was like selling out. But it's almost like maybe Big Pharma would be like, hey, you know, give us your farm because we don't want you to make this anymore because it doesn't benefit us. And you would be like, no, I'm not going to do that, you know. And you would like just stick to your roots. It's like your ability, your gift to stick to your truth. And like that's so important in this society, because we are kind of losing ourselves to these just irrelevant like validation seeking things, and you guys are your ability to just stand true in who you are really is like your talent in itself. And you guys have so much strength, so much power. Not a lot can shake you, and truly nothing can break you either. So let's get some more into your gifts, your abilities, like your powers, and your personality, who you are, that will lead you to high levels of achievement.
I'm gonna consult the I Ching to see how we can further explore what we just talked about. So what I was hearing a lot about was integrity, groundedness. So working with your hands, specifically strength through disappointment. Those are the key things I took away from this spread associated with aquamarine. What I'm looking for in this this hexagram that we're gonna cast is maybe something, maybe water. So hexagram is made up of 2 trigrams, so I want to see a water trigram associated with some kind of earth trigram. Obviously things don't always come out as we expect, but if it did come out like that, it would really just confirm what we were talking about, and if not, we'll see what that reveals to us. So for the first line, we have well, the way it works is you craft it bottom up. So for the 6th line, we have 2 tails, and then we can move to 5th line. Three tails. So it's interesting, we pulled a lot of we're pulling a lot of tails. So I'm already seeing that this is the yin. Tails is correlated to yin, so try tapping into some feminine energy. See if we can get some confirmations on that. Okay, so we're getting 2 heads now, so maybe don't necessarily full send the it basically what it doesn't sound like you're it doesn't sound like you're really neglecting your feminine side, but it does sound like there can be some work on that to provide more balance. Yeah. Again, with two tails. Sort of confirming that message. Oh, okay. That's sort of they sort of flew out. But that's interesting. So when they flew away outside the box, sort of, we got 3 heads. So that's interesting. Maybe your masculine side is sort of a bit reckless right now, or maybe your masculine side is calling you to think outside the box. Literally, figuratively. You might be a bit too aggressive, a bit too reckless. You might be missing the mark, but more literally, you might be called to start thinking outside the box when it comes to specifically fixing things. That's what I heard from the spread. You know, when it comes to fixing things, let's try to think outside the box. maybe if, since we're on the topic of throat chakra and the color blue, maybe it's time to learn a new language. Words are powerful. Maybe sort of do some research on the language of sea animals, you know, how dolphins or whales communicate. That might open up some new perspectives with you. Okay, again, three tails, really just confirming the message of embracing the feminine. So, just as a quick recap, we have at the bottom of the hex, the bottom trigram, we have 2 tails, 3 tails, 2 heads. In the top trigram, we have, going from bottom up, we have 2 tails, 3 heads, and 3 tails. So it's very tails heavy, yin heavy kind of hexagram we'll be crafting. Let me just refer to the guidebook because I don't remember quite yet how to form the which lines correspond to the tails and heads that we are pulling. Okay, so we have for the top of the hexagram, we have 3 tails, which is a changing broken line. So it's the old yin. When you have 3 of the same, it's changed from what the tails symbolizes, the yin, to the yang. So basically it's the forming of 2 broken lines into one. So 1 line at the top, then we move on to the second, 1 line at the bottom, because the hexagram is formed from the bottom to the top. So then we have, that was 2 tails. So 2 tails, 1 head is a solid line, yes. 3 tails is the changing broken line, old yin. So it becomes and then we have 2 heads, which is also a broken line. We have 2 tails. Beginning onto the next trigram, we have 2 tails going from bottom up, which is a solid. Then we have 3 heads, so that is solid. I might have misspoken earlier. So when it comes to the 3 tails, that actually is generally the tails is a solid line, as you can see here. But when you have 3 of the tails, it changes to a broken line. I think I said it changes from a solid to but previously I said the broken lines come together when the 3 tails. No, I had it wrong. It's that when the yin is in totality of all 3 coins, it becomes the old, and meaning that the old is the solid line, so it becomes the broken line. Because again, to reiterate, the I Ching is represents how the world is always changing and flowing. So crafting our hexagram, the top line, basically the last three coins we threw was 3 tails. So 3 tails, as I just said, it's the changing broken line. So even though 2 tails represents the solid line, once you hit the 3 tail, when you pull 3 tails, it means it changes from the solid to the broken. So at the very top, we will have a broken line. So top down, we have a broken line, solid line, solid line, broken line, solid line. So all we have to do is refer to our guide, so we can just find it quicker. I could always go through the deck and find the specific card with that, but it just would be quicker if I consult the guidebook. So as I said, broken, solid, solid at the top. So the upper trigram that we see here is broken, solid, solid. So that's going to be all the way to the right. And then for the bottom trigram, the lower trigram as they put it, it's solid, broken, broken, solid. So we have that second row down. So we're going to pull 17 because that's where these, it's a quick little reference for us to see from what we cast. So we casted 17 basically. Let me just make sure I'm doing this right. Yeah, we have the broken, solid, solid, broken, broken, solid. There we go. Okay, so 17. Let's see what 17 has in store for us. 17 is a prime number, so that is quite significant in terms of 17 gives very grounded kind of, it has a very kind of grounded atmosphere, because primes are not divisible by any number but themselves in 1, so it's a very stable kind of number. So I would say 17 gives a lot of earth energy. Let's reference the book to see what each trigram sort of represents. So we have here, it's always fun to look at this one. We have the upper trigram being the broken, unbroken, unbroken. So that is represented by Shun, I think is the way it's pronounced. So southeast. Yeah, broken, unbroken, broken. Okay, and then we have, I think so, and then we have the broken, broken, unbroken. So that's going to be represented by Jen, northeast. So southeast, eastern kind of energy. So Shun again. So wind or wood is what we have for the top trigram, and again is mountain. So wind, wood, and mountain. It sounds like I get from that is that you are building, in the most physical interpretation I get from that is that you, as the water sign, if you have that in your chart, you are building on a mountain. So you're building on not an unstable foundation, but sort of like a complex kind of situation. Like, it's hard to build on the mountain. You might have to level it properly. You might even build into the mountain. And additionally to this not shaky foundation but tricky foundation, you have to face winds. That's what I was seeing that's what the top trigram was telling us. There's wind and wood. So you're going to be building your house in the most physical interpretation, you're going to be building a house on the mountain that's going to be tested continually by strong winds. and there's a type of harmony to this interpretation because there was no fire energy, so that's good because you won't necessarily your enemy or your challenge right now is not going to be in the house burning down, but being blown away. So let's see what the card tells us. The card of 17. So 17 is represented by following. How are things flowing? How can you move with them? Where are you being nudged and guided? Honor the flow of energy from your source to fulfillment and align your actions to it. Align your ideal outcome to meld with the natural current. Following may then be an effortless flow of supported synchronicities. Moving with the creative process is never a mistake. So, bottom line, a flow, it really harmonizes with the water nature of our crystal, to really have sort of, when it comes to being, because we were talking about competitiveness, how that is your motivation, that is important. Competition is important because it can also teach you lessons in that there's always going to be a winner and loser, which is not a bad thing because you can actually learn more through your losses than your wins. So sort of don't get stuck on your losses. Be like water, flow, learn from your losses, use them to, especially if you're younger, you can lose now and win in the future where the stakes are higher. And as the card was saying on the back, how are things flowing and how can you move with them? Yeah. Do you feel like you're losing a lot in your life? Sort of, if you are, that's okay. Use those as lessons. Move with the losses instead of being stopped by with the losses. And if you're winning, sort of take a time to step back and make sure, what I was hearing from the spread as well is integrity. If you're winning, make sure you're doing it with integrity. Don't compromise your values to win. And if that's what's happening, if you're sticking with your values and you're really seeing a lot of success in your life, run with it. Don't question it. I was hearing that I was hearing fear of success. You might have a fear of success, but if you are succeeding and staying true to your values, maybe this is the fruits of your labor. Let's see what it talks about. Fruits from the source creating success. Constancy bears fruit. Yeah. So if you're creating success already, just go with it. Be constant with it, and that will be what bears the most fruit. Don't be afraid of winning. Let your winners run, as they say when it comes to trading specifically. Let them run. Don't close too early. Don't give up on the strategies that have been working for you. And as long as you follow those guiding principles, you will probably see you will probably be very fulfilled in your life, and you will have a very clear kind of perspective on everything. And to wrap it up, we can sort of go back to our guiding energy for the group. I want to focus. I want to close off with compassion. Do everything compassionately. Don't necessarily overextend, but don't allow your truth to be stifled. It's a very delicate balance, and just use your intuition to guide you. Be like a flowing river if there's rocks in front of you, don't try to cut them immediately. Over time, water can cut through rocks, but it's a process that happens over time. It's a healing process. It's not something that happens overnight. So keep in mind that whether you are succeeding or whether you feel like you're failing right now, you always have the potential to fulfill your true purpose, to really enhance your skills, to really lean into your supernatural abilities. And I would say just stay balanced in general.
You guys, now we're gonna pull you some meditation cards for advice on how you can best harness the energy of your gifts and abilities. And I was getting a few random messages as well for you guys. I was getting diamond in the rough, and I was also getting that some of you guys could be like really good fishermen, which I know is random. And then I was hearing like humble. Your power and your gifts is really in your humility, and your strength, your fortitude. So yeah, let's get some cards for advice on how you can best utilize this energy to be your most abundant version. So your first one, you have what do you want? So perform for 10 minutes. Life is short. Prioritization is a must. Write down 5 things you want in life, then write down the next step you could take to achieve what you want. Yeah, this really resonates with you guys. I also feel like there could be some Virgos here too. Lots of water, earth energy. So what do you want? I feel like this also makes sense. You guys are really good at like planning, like 3-step plan, writing things out, writing out a list, writing out plans is how you're best going to utilize this energy as well.
I'm pulling the 1 Nen. It's telling me there are 3 Nens, or thought impulses. So the first one is experience, the second is reflection of the experience, and the third is when we become aware or mindful of this reflection. So I'm sort of getting that this is, these are really connected to each other, because once you are able to prioritize, you want to be able to have a process on actualizing your priorities. So, or at least when you do think about your priorities, sort of use the 3 Nens or thought impulses to understand what your priorities mean to you and how they can connect you to your true purpose.
Yeah, so that's what we're seeing for you guys. Group number 2, definitely comment down below. Let us know how this reading resonates for you. Much love. Namaste. Group number 2, welcome to your reading. If you guys chose the Moldavite, this is your message for what are your unique gifts and abilities, what are your special talents, all of that. And yeah, what do you need to know about your gifts in this lifetime? So Moldavite, lots of green energy here. Green associated with the heart chakra, healing, protection, telepathy, connection. So Moldavite is known as the crystal that fell from the sky, that fell from, it's the alien crystal, so to say. So you guys have a lot of connection to higher realms, or like different forms of consciousness. You guys could be channelers. You have a really big connection to your heart chakra. You guys could be really good at energy healing. You could be like the healers, the nurturers. You have a lot of more supernatural gifts and abilities. Your powers are more rooted in like spiritual gifts and abilities. And your power really flows through in your heart chakra. So I feel like your biggest challenge in this lifetime is going to be your heart chakra, your ability to love so much and so fully and so completely, but at the same time, like the high levels of devastation that also can show up with that level of empathy and understanding. So your power and your abilities, your gifts are really rooted within your heart chakra. You guys have very nurturing energy, and you're meant to help restore that sense of like heart chakra balance within the collective consciousness, helping us all ground back into our heart center after, you know, being so kind of discombobulated by a lot of like societal structures that are meant to keep us in spiritual entrapment. So a lot of power with healing in whatever way that resonates. So that can be, you know, energy healing, reiki, divination, things like that, but it can also be just in being like a really good teacher, or being someone who's very nurturing, giving love to people that maybe haven't really had it. Maybe you guys are therapists, counselors, or teachers, or people, you know, you could just maybe work in healthcare, you know, you could be a nurse, something like that. A lot of your gifts and your abilities is like in your nurturing qualities. So yeah, your biggest it's like your biggest gift, but also your worst enemy is your heart. And it's not really your worst enemy, but it's just you're gonna have to navigate like having such a big heart, and, you know, the harsh reality of protecting your heart at the same time, and that, you know, you can't save everyone. You can only offer guiding light, but people have to save themselves. You can lead a fish to water, but you can't make it swim, or not fish, I don't know. You can leave a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, or something like that. I don't know. Okay, but yeah, let's see what else. So yeah, definitely you guys work with your heart chakra, balancing your heart chakra. Power of telepathy as well with Moldavite. You guys can be very telepathic. You can pick up on a lot of subconscious things that maybe others wouldn't. Judgment. Wow. So Libras, some of you guys could be Libras. It's Judgment Day. And you have the Knight of Eyes. Wow, yeah, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it swim or drink. I don't know, actually. But yeah, horses talk about freedom. Horses are liberation. So you guys are like the liberators. You provide a lot of liberation. You're very free-spirited, and you provide a lot of freedom to those around you. Also, with the Judgment card, you act as divine judgment. So you may notice that a lot of people experience karma through you. So maybe you meet someone who has wronged a lot of people in their life, and they try to do that same sort of technique of wronging to you, but when they do it to you, they finally, you know, face their judgment day. Sometimes you could be kind of utilized as like a karmic source, so to say. You guys are really meant to call out, you know, the truths in the world, and also to call out like the flaws and the hypocrisy. You guys, like, your power and your gift and your ability is to really shed light on what's kind of hidden in the dark, to bring light to the darkness. And then you also have the Knight of Eyes, which is really about, let's actually reference the book. So the Knight of Eyes in the Edgar Allan Poe is the wand. So yeah, the Knight of Wands. You guys are very take charge, take action, like move forward. You're not a very stagnant energy, and there's a lot of power in your ability to like take charge and like push things forward, so to say. So lots of like liberation energy and like conductors of change, or like you guys could be like the peacemakers, but also you could be like someone that is meant to provide a sense of collective liberation, transformation. It's like, I kind of think of like just like leading like a riot, or, you know, a brigade or something like that. Like, you guys are not afraid to stand up for what you believe in. Like, a lot of your power is to stand up for love, and to also like bring love to those around you. Like, really just your heart chakra in general. It's almost like you don't have to, like, you have so many gifts. Yeah, the Hierophant, like, you guys have so much spiritual wisdom, so many spiritual gifts and abilities. You guys really could channel really well, like, your spirit guides. There could be a lot of different entities as well that want to channel through you, that want to communicate with you when you're ready, when the time is right. Divine wisdom, I kind of think of Bashar, like Bashar the channeler, which I don't know if, you know, some people say that him channeling is kind of fake. I don't really know for sure. I've never really watched him, but I'm not gonna really comment on that. But it's kind of like that example, like maybe there's a being with a higher level of intelligence that would want to channel through you when your crown chakra is open enough. So I feel like for you guys, your crown chakra and your heart chakra are like some of your most powerful features in this lifetime. Wow, you have the Queen of Ravens. So yeah, you guys have a lot of powerful feminine energy. Whether you're male or female, it doesn't matter. Group number 2 had a really more like powerful masculine energy. They were more rooted in your masculine. You guys are more rooted in your feminine. The Raven suit represents the Queen of Cups. So yeah, the Queen of Cups, literally the Queen of Cups, the Queen of Hearts, the Queen of Emotions, the Queen of the Heart Chakra. So you guys are meant to lead. Like, you're meant to lead with love. Your power and your gift and your ability is your ability to lead from a space of love, not from a space of greed. You know, most world leaders, I would say, dang, I wish I remembered. I don't know if it's Norway or something like that, but I know that there is a country that is run by like 3 women, and I'm pretty sure it's the country that is like has the highest level of peace or something like that, or like the lowest depression rate. I forget which country that is. Maybe I can put it in the like description if I remember, but it's almost like you guys have the ability to lead from a space of love and compassion, understanding, not from a place of greed or like, what can I gain, what can I take, you know. Your power is just truly rooted in your heart chakra. You guys have so much compassion, so much empathy, so much understanding, and you really are like, you have healing abilities, the ability to heal those around you. And the more you connect to your heart chakra, even activating your higher heart chakra, the more that you do that, the more powerful you are. Like, that love just radiates. You could have a green aura too, but there's so many different ways you could go about like implementing this energy into your life, and helping those around you. But truly the best way for you to harness this energy is just to open up your heart chakra and lead with love, and don't let life make your heart chakra blocked. Don't hold on to anger and resentment, because that is something that will stop or block like that true power that you hold. You may notice that others do try to, you know, tear you down or make you disconnect from your heart chakra, but if you can continue to hold that space, you can radiate that energy collectively all around you, and it's like this powerful force that just radiates to everyone around you and uplifts the collective in general. So you just holding that space is the gift, is the power, is the ability. But there are different ways you can utilize this to achieve a lot in terms of your career, and once again, that's those fields where you can kind of be in the healing, nurturing energy, whether it's taking the more spiritual route or taking the more traditional route of like nursing, teaching, things like that, or being a Reiki practitioner, things like that, being a spiritual teacher, being a new world leader, teaching peace, preaching peace, and, you know, allowing others to recognize that you don't have to go through negativity. Because I think in society nowadays, in order to get to the top, especially in like a capitalist society, like more so from like an American perspective, in a capitalist society, if you want to be the most successful, it usually means that you lose a part of your humanity to get to the top. So it's like your gift, your ability is to be successful without losing your humanity in the process.
Indeed. Definitely very important to not get to the top by any means necessary, because that will involve a lot of pain and suffering for a lot of people around you, because that's what it takes, unfortunately, to do something
also,
like that.
I would say with the green, you guys could definitely have a connection to plants. So like surrounding yourself with green, surrounding yourself with trees, the more you connect to nature, that's also a really great way to ground this energy.
Yeah, and as that connects to getting to the top, trees, for example, they rise to the top over multiple years. So doing that in a matter of in a few years rather than multiple years, or a few months in some scenarios, that's very unnatural, and that will definitely bring about pain for, if not you, for many other people. And yeah, sort of nature as a guidebook for how we should lead our lives. So let's do some quick, let's cast a hexagram. I'm going to try to do it pretty quick so we have more time to talk about the hexagram and how it relates to this reading, specifically the Judgment Knight and Queen, and the Moldavite that we have pulled, or the Moldavite group. So for our first, and again, these the lines are constructed bottom up. So the first one just to show, the first one I threw was 2 tails, 1 heads. And I'll just quickly go through each one, tell you which one I get, and go to the next one. So now we have 3 tails. And then 2 tails, 1 heads. Two heads. Three heads. Okay, this is very balanced. And 3 heads. It's really cool because the lower trigram has tails, yin energy, and the upper trigram has a lot of yang, heads energy. So quickly going to the book. Okay. So what we were just talking about is the heart chakra and how that relates to healing, protection, telepathy, and connection. I'm just reading from the Moldavite card here, and that you might be a healer, you might be a karmic vessel. So let's sort of keep those themes in mind for this card that we are going to pull. So what we have is our hexagram with a solid line, broken line, solid line, broken line, solid line, solid line, going from bottom up. And if we reference this handy grid so we can just quickly get to the card, the lower trigram is solid, broken, solid. So that's going to be the second from the right. And then we have broken, solid, solid. That's going to be the third from the bottom. So that's 50. 50 is a very interesting number. It's very it's a strong number. It's a very balanced number. You can divide it by, obviously since it's even, you can divide it by 2. It being even, that sort of leans towards I believe the even is represented by the yin, so that's more of a kind of yeah, I would say that really that really resonates with the healing aspect of this. So yeah, I mean, it's great that we pulled this card because, as I said, you can potentially be a karmic vessel. So the theme that I'm seeing in your life right now, one of your skills, one of your supernatural power, and perhaps even your purpose, is that you encounter many characters in your life that have maybe accumulated negative karma, and through them they might actually learn how to, you might be the vessel that that their karma is going to sort of resolve itself through you. You are someone who is able to let's see, what is the vessel for transformation? So you are the vessel for transformation. The vessel provides stable, robust foundations for a new life. Maybe you're, and back to the connection portion of the Moldavite, you are someone who is able to connect with other people, and even though that person might have not had the greatest past, your kind of personality is a very healing personality, and you, through your actions, through your words, you are able to show people who have accumulated some negative karma that they are not necessarily going down the correct path. And while this is a very this relates back to judgment, you sort of are able to be the person who is not necessarily judging them, but they might feel like they are being not judged per se, but sort of they are being their actions in their life are now being sort of revealed, and that they cannot really live their life as they have been anymore. So this, you're doing, basically, you're the vessel for healing. And not only, and it's also important to not get too caught up with others' negativities. There's only, as the theme we were repeating from this, the theme we kept repeating through these cards was that you can lead, again, the horse. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. So you can all these people in your life, you are sort of the vessel for the water. You can lead this person to this vessel, yet you cannot force them to sort of drink from the vessel. What will you cook? Well, I mean, you are cooking. You're making a recipe for others to heal from. What are you beginning? You are beginning other people's healing journeys. So it's important not to be the person who is healing, not to be the person who is necessarily going to always be by someone's side that is going to be constantly, you don't want to be that person. You don't want to drain yourself through, you don't want to drain yourself. You want to, however, your role is to be the spark that sort of makes the other person realize that they are not necessarily leading a life that is really harmonious or kind of it kind of spreads peace and joy, and you are going to be the person that allows someone to transform because you have led them to you have led them to you are the leader, so you have led them, and you have a nurturing spirit, the queen over here. You have led them to what can allow them to change, but you cannot force them to change. And with that, we can pull two additional cards to to wrap this up.
Yeah, so these cards are going to be how can you best utilize this energy, how can you best harness your gifts and your abilities. Alright, so you guys have choiceless awareness. Meditate for 10 minutes, focus your attention on whatever arises. Meditation is not having no thoughts, it is becoming aware of thoughts, emotions, sensations, and perceptions as they arise and pass away. Yeah, choiceless awareness, that's also going to be really important to just open your mind, be an open vessel for source, and an open vessel to receive channeled messages.
And I have the first precept, if that's how you pronounce it, no killing. So you are going to be dealing with a lot of questionable characters, I would say, but before it gets to the point where you feel like you have to, maybe this could be a more of a metaphorical killing. Before it gets to that point, once it gets to that point, basically you have done all you could, and it's time to move on. And I want to add is that I think I was getting to this point, but it's really cool that the card says it, including yourself. So don't kill anybody else, but most importantly, don't kill yourself, metaphorically, meaning you are a healer, but do not let someone else sap your energy so much that you are a detriment to yourself. There's only so much you can do.
Yeah, you guys may struggle with people pleasing in this lifetime, and so setting boundaries is going to be really important. Yeah, but that's what we're seeing for you guys. Group number 3, definitely comment down below. Let us know how this reading resonates for you. Much, much love. Namaste.